all season. Stop letting these women play you out of your position. What I mean by that is when she has these reactions and she's mad and she's throwing things and I could never and blah, 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 she's giving these demons what they want. They are provoking spirits. They want to provoke her to a they want to provoke her to react. So then they can say, see, she's crazy. See, she's awful. See, she's nuts. Oh, wow. It must be truthful. She must be hiding something. See, she can't take accountability. But it's like, no, she's not crazy or those things. You've systematically bullied her all season and she's just tired of it. So you have to be really careful with people who do that. People like a Whitney and an Angie. They are textbook. I don't know if it's narcissist. I don't know what it is. I'm not a doctor. I don't diagnose, but there's something with a personality disorder where they will poke and poke and poke and poke. And then the moment they get what they wanted, which was a reaction, they play victim. Oh my God, you're crazy. Oh my God, I can't believe you did this. Blah, 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 blah. So for Lisa, I want to stop, be so unbothered. That would actually be the most powerful position to have. Sometimes you do have to just check somebody, because sometimes enough is enough and you need to check someone so they know it's enough. I'm tapped out. Leave me alone. Sometimes you just got to check somebody and that's fine. But overall, be so unbothered by them. That is the best way to get them back. I don't kill people with kindness. I kill people with blindness. I literally don't see you and I don't hear you. Null and void. Bye-bye. That is the best thing to do. So that's my biggest note for Lisa, because she's still that chick. They all are still clamoring for Lisa's attention, clamoring for her validation. And she's like, can I just live? Can I just live? What the heck? So that's kind of my note for Lisa. Now, when it comes to Whitney, I need Whitney to be fired because I can't stand her voice anymore. It literally pains me and hurts my sweet angel soul to hear her voice. I can't take it anymore. It's enough. Whitney, shut the F up. Stop. Now, I think it's pretty obvious that Whitney has been caught out for lying and twisting Up and Adam's words. Now, when it comes to the whole Alibaba, Up and Adam, Dana Wilkie stuff, I think it was blown out of proportion because the tea that was spilled wasn't even that hot. All you have to do is Google and all of that will come up. It's not like somebody gave super secrets or anything like that. I stand by the fact that I think that Adam was in on framing Lisa Barlow until the block got too hot. Until Lisa was like, I will sue you and take your new house. Who said this? Show me the receipts. I think once the block got too hot, Adam was like, I'm not built for this. I think he's like, blah, 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 blah. He called up Meredith and was like, listen, you need to get me out of this. I'm not going down with Whitney. I'm not going to get a lawsuit. You got to get me out of this. And he was like, oh, there was no evidence. She twisted my words. We had this phone call. He was trying to save his butt, And another reason why I think that is because Whitney said on Watch What Happens Live, they were talking about, Up and Adam and all of that, because people always tell on themselves. What she said was, I trusted the wrong person. That is very telling. To me, that means Adam agreed to help her with the okie doke. And she trusted him to be her partner in crime, to lie for her, to take down Lisa Barlow. And then he flipped on her. She didn't say, no, he really told me this. And I feel so hurt that he would betray me like this. I feel so betrayed, or I can't believe he lied to me. None of that. That's how her and Adam were, for Up and Adam, not our Adam, Up and Adam, we're in on it together. And that's also how she plotted it and planned it, and she knew she was lying to set up Lisa Barlow. Because a normal reaction would have been, like, this is like, if let me put myself in Whitney's position. Ugh, gross. Let me put myself in like Whitney's position. Hi, I'm Whitney. I have this jewelry line, and this blogger, podcaster comes to me who I think I can trust, my friend, and he tells me that Lisa was saying to him that I was, doing some shady business stuff. Then all of a sudden, once the block gets hot, he flips and says, I never said that. You twisted my words. My reaction wouldn't be, I trusted the wrong person. My reaction would be like, oh my God, Lisa, I'm so sorry. I believed him. That is what the reaction would be if you hadn't actually lied and you did this to set her up. Your reaction would be like, Lisa, I'm so sorry. I believed this guy. That's when you would say, I trusted him. I believed him. He came and told me you said this to him, and now he's saying he didn't. That is what the reaction would be if you really thought this was the truth. Whitney's reaction is, oh, up and Adam's lying. Oh, I can't believe he did this. Oh, blah, 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 blah. She's pissed because he flipped on her. Because wouldn't that then vindicate Lisa? And wouldn't you be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I believed this? So, Whitney girl, bye, miss me with everything. This should be Whitney's last season. I think she needs to be fired. She's awful. Let's get back to Heather Gay real quick. And with the whole finale crap. I think that Heather Gay was like, oh, I think the reason why she was being so hard on the bloggers or whatever she wanted to call them is because she didn't want to be called out. I think she was scared that Meredith or Lisa knew that she was the one, I'll just say alleged, who allegedly gave Dana Wilkie the information about Whitney's business. And I think she was trying to deflect and get ahead of it. Because if you watch the episode right before Heather goes into her whole tirade, Meredith is like, oh, well, I know the podcaster. He called me and talked to me. Like Meredith was, but you know how Meredith is. She's a lawyer. She was about to go boom, 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 and exhibit A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, K. Like she was about to go in. And I think Heather wanted to cut her off in case they knew something. And then she came up with this stupid text burn game. Again, don't let nobody play you out your position. Heather Gay, who the hell are you? You're not the producer. You're not the HBIC. You're just a narrator on the show and not a reliable one at that. So girl, bye. So I would have been like, no, opt out. I would have been like, I'm not reading a damn thing from my phone, and don't read anything about me on your phone. If you don't like me, continue to not to like me. You heard a rumor about me, go hear it again. But keep my name out your mouth, watch your tone, and no, I'm not playing. What grown women are sitting around being like, let's go through our text messages and say the most evil, hurtful thing about somebody. What? Get the hell out of here. That was so whack to me. That was so whack. So whack. Heather, you're whack for that. And the whole cast is whack for going along with it. I would be like, no, don't say anything about me. And I'm not playing. I'm going to go get a margarita. Leave me alone. That's what I would have done. Anyway, now, Lisa Barlow going after Angie's husband when she was like, well, I heard Sean likes a circle jerk. After Whitney, in my opinion, I think it was a lie. I think Lisa's reaction was because, and what I mean is the rumor that Lisa was kissing a girl while, oh, thank you, Mel. Thank you. Piping hot, juicy. So, the rumor was that, or the rumor that Whitney was trying to put out was Lisa was kissing a girl while she was doing something sexually inappropriate to John, some weird threesome, which again, I think is BS. I don't think that's true at all. And I think the reason why Lisa had such a reaction was she was just tired. She was fed up. She had an entire season of Whitney being like, me, tell me. Lisa had more control than me. Let's put it that way. It's a lot. And I think and also, even though I think what Angie said about Bronwyn was really harsh, and really dirty and really mean and just goes to the evil demonic spirit that Angie is. Because I was just really not, I don't like Bronwyn. And I was even like, ooh, girl, like, yikes, like the hate in you, Angie, it's deep and it's too much. But even that was about Bronwyn. It was about her opinion on Bronwyn. What Whitney did was she brought in her husband, John, making an accusation against him. Totally different situation. I thought the assignment was tell the worst thing you said about the person, not say the worst thing about the person, their husband, their child, their mother-in-law, their grandpa, their niece, their second cousin twice removed. Like, I didn't know we were bringing people into it like that, family into it like that. I thought it was really dirty. And the reason why, and again, thank you, Mel, for that. That was really sweet. And again, the reason why I stand with Lisa bringing in Angie's husband, because again, I'm like, are people not watching the same show? Like, I'm confused. Like, even the ladies on the after show, but again, the ladies in that and the producers on the after show, the producers on Watch Happens Live, I don't know if they're watching the same show either, because they ask the dumbest questions. Like, they don't get it either. They're like, oh, well, wasn't Lisa so bad to bring in Angie's husband? Like, why would she bring Angie into it? Why did she do that? And Bronwyn's like, Lisa's hard to defend. Like, when she brought Angie, why would she bring Angie into it? And Mary's like, yeah, why would she bring her into it? Shut up. Watch the show. The reason why Lisa brought Angie's husband into it was because Whitney said this was a text message exchange with Angie. So you're damn right, Lisa had every right under the sun to come for Angie and her whack, weird ass husband all day long. Okay? All day long. And I'll tell you why. If I'm Lisa Barlow and I have Angie, who she's known for years, she's known her for years, okay? Way before the show. And then you have Angie being like, Lisa, we're so close. Lisa calls me 100 times a day. Lisa, you need to be my friend. Lisa, I miss you. I thought we were friends. Where's your loyalty, Lisa? Lisa, 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 Lisa. Lisa, I'm not doing anything with Whitney. Lisa, you should come to me and talk to me about things. Like, all season long, like a weirdo, all up Lisa's butt, but then totally turning on her, going to Whitney and being like, this is what Lisa said about you. This is how Lisa feels. Lisa's a bad mom, all of this stuff. But then at the other side of her face, wants to talk about how, Lisa calls her all the time and they're so, like, a bunch of crap. Basically, a friend who's a hater. Lisa, just realize the only person who's your real friend on this cast is Meredith. All the other women want to like skin you and like wear your body. Like, it's bizarre and weird and whack. Angie was never your friend. She was a frenemy. She's a fake chick. She was with you for what she could get from you, not because she actually liked you. And that is so obvious, okay? So you have that dynamic, right? Where they're working on their friendship. We're going to be here for each other. No one's going to come between us. And you have and Whitney has the audacity to say, this is the conversation I was having with Angie. And Angie never once told Lisa. So the 100 times a day that you're claiming Lisa is calling you, Angie, which I don't believe either, that you're claiming Lisa is calling you, not nan time did you say, by the way, Lisa, my best friend, my good friend for years, here's a heads up. Whitney just told me that there's a chick going around Salt Lake City saying that you are doing threesomes with your husbands. Just an FYI. No. So why is then Angie shocked and surprised that Lisa's going to come for her neck? Angie, did you shut down the conversation? Did you say to Whitney, don't repeat that? That would never happen. Lisa and John are good. Did you go to your friend Lisa and say, hey, this is a rumor I heard from Whitney. Just want to give you the heads up. Are things okay? What's going on? Right? SW says, LOL, what? Angie is great. I do not like Angie. We're going to agree, disagree. I am not an Angie fan. Of course, you guys, if you like someone, like them, cheer for them, that is totally fine. Over here with the Candy Canes, we're open. You like who you like. I like who I like. We agree. We kiki. We disagree. We still kiki. So if you have your faves and they're not my faves, that is totally fine. Still comment and come and talk and hang out. So yeah, and I'm just like, I see myself so much in Lisa's Barlow's personality. I would feel the same exact way, and I would have clocked it the same way Lisa clocked it. Because the moment Whitney said, "This is a text between me and Angie," you see Lisa look at Angie like, "Excuse me, you didn't tell me this, and you pretend to be my friend, and then you try to gaslight me when I tell you that you are acting, that you're moving different towards me because of your relationship with Whitney. You want to say I'm insecure, you want to say I'm paranoid, but yet you and Whitney are having text conversations about me and my husband and what we do or do not do behind closed doors, but you want to pretend to be my friend." Also, the reason why I think it's okay that she went for Angie and her husband is because Angie's like, "Oh, the rumors about my husband." Those rumors only continued to be perpetuated because of Angie and her husband. Angie was the one who brought those rumors back to this season. So she's the one who kept those rumors going for over 2 years. Those rumors would have died last season. I don't think anybody really wanted to touch the sexuality question about her husband because, quite frankly, nobody cares. It's not our business and it's boring. I don't care what you do. Love who you love, sex who you sex. I don't care. So who cares? The reason why that storyline had so much life was because you kept giving it to it. First episode, you have a scroll like a child in arts and crafts in the 5th grade, a scroll of all your grievances with Meredith, and you kept that narrative going, being mad at her about the rumors. Nobody else was talking about your husband, Angie, but you. Your husband himself kept it going when he did a little podcast tour. Since when does anybody care about what Angie's husband has to say? Why is he on a podcast? Who's booking her husband for a podcast? I'm confused. But he's on a podcast tour, so clearly he doesn't really care about talking about the rumors or setting the rumors straight because he's on a podcast tour that nobody asked for, still talking about the rumors. He brought in Meredith's son and his alleged sexuality into the conversation to give himself cover. Maybe he's jealous of Meredith's son because maybe he's more free, maybe he's more authentic, maybe he's more who he is. And maybe he's jealous of that. Maybe he's jealous that Meredith and her husband are loving and open and not judging, and they allow her son to be who he is. Maybe he's jealous. Why else would you bring somebody's child into a conversation about sexuality? But then play the victim when somebody has something to say about it. But yet you and your husband are the only two people who continue to perpetuate that rumor for the last year and a half because nobody else gave a damn and it was embarrassing for you. So Angie, pipe down and shut up. Okay? Bronwyn to me is whack as hell. She's a weirdo. She's a wackadoodle. I clocked it from day one, and I think now people are finally starting to see it. I think the tide on Bronwyn has turned. I clocked her from day one. I was like, she's a weirdo. She's a liar. She is a a theater kid. She's a theater kid. Turns out she's producing Broadway shows. Told you guys. I told you. I clocked it. Oh, with her voice, like, "Oh, Lisa, Angie was questioning your parenting skills. What are we to do, Papa?" Like, she's so weird to me. She's so weird. And I think she's just like acting and she's playing this weird persona. And I think a part of her feels bad because like she'll kind of still have Lisa's back. Like, well, I never heard Lisa say that, or she'll go to Lisa after she does a scene and like, this is what Whitney said, this is what Heather said, or whatever the case is. So it's almost like I do think she thinks she's playing a role, and she also has a black scent. Do you guys notice that? I don't know. Look, it gets dicey when you talk about, how people talk. I can't talk. I have a very valley effect myself, but whatever. This is how I talk. When it comes to Bronwyn, though, she's always like, yeah, we all know that like Brittany like dead ass does and this and like girl don't you ever and like watch your tone and it's like she has this sort of like black scent where I'm like, Utah, Bronwyn from Utah, like where is this coming from? Like where did you pick up this black scent? I'm confused. And Bronwyn to me is very similar to Paige DeSerbo, who I'm also not a fan of. When it comes to fashion, like just because you're wearing something ridiculous doesn't make it fashion. Like you're not fashionable. You don't have style. Like I don't think Paige is stylish. I don't. I don't think Bronwyn is stylish. I don't. Look, they're not, and they're also not my personal style. My personal style is very chill. It's very much understated. It's like a sweater, some jeans, a blazer, then me. You see, this is my style. So when I see people who are so over the top with it, and girl, your outfit was costume. You did look like a clown. It was not couture. It looked like a costume. And it wasn't the only 3 in the world. And this is a little bit of a tangent, but whatever. This is another reason why I hate watching Watch What Happens Live. It's a hot ass mess. The people who are producing Watch What Happens Live, I think they have to be unpaid interns who are doing their sophomore year at NYU or Tisch. Like it has to be because it's so sloppy and bizarre and weird. So on one of the episodes of Watch What Happens Live, you know how Bronwyn had the heart, like the big heart thing, and she's like, only me and the Smithsonian and Rihanna have the $17,000 fluffy heart, which again, arts and crafts, 5th grade, I can make that myself. I'm gonna go down to Michael's and like get some arts and crafts, some feathers and some fur and a glue gun, and I too could look like Rihanna. Anyway, so they had all that situation where she's like pretending, which again, that's not true. But then on the segment, they had who wore it better. This is on Watch What Happens Live. I know I'm all over the place, but follow me. On Watch What Happens Live, like a month ago, who wore it better? They had the red heart thing that Bronwyn was wearing, and then Raquel was wearing the same exact one. Maybe it's a knockoff, maybe it's a dupe, but whatever. It was who wore it better, meaning same outfit, same thing between Bronwyn and Raquel, because clearly there are more than 3 in the world. Okay? This is on Watch What Happens Live. Guys, I forgot who they said wore it better. I'm going to say Raquel because I like Raquel better. I really like Raquel. I think she's really cool, fun, and fabulous. And she actually has style. Anyway, the next 2 episodes of Watch What Happens Live, they're doing Hollywood Squares, that whack game. And one of the questions is like, who was answering it? I want to say Giselle. I want to say Giselle was answering one of the questions. And one of the questions were like, this red heart outfit, only 3 people have it. Bronwyn, Rihanna, and the Smithsonian. True or false or something like that. And Giselle was like, no, there's like more than the 3. And then it was like, wrong. It was only 3. But I was like, I'm confused, Watch What Happens Live. How dare you have a segment the episode before saying who wore it better with clearly more than 4, and then now you're saying Giselle got it wrong and that there's only 3. Like, what unpaid intern is at the helm of this show? Pfft. Maybe nobody else gets irritated by stuff like that, but my personality and my memory, it pissed me off. Because how dare you? Anyway, let's get back on topic. Okay. Sorry, you guys. I just had to go off because I've been waiting to get that off my chest. Waiting. All right. Anyway, back to the show. Bronwyn, weirdo. Now, her and her husband, I'm calling BS on this. I feel like something isn't right. It doesn't pass the sniff test. There's a fly in the milk. When she was crying and it was like, let's talk about what I've really gone through with Todd, the infidelity. I do think that in that moment, she was being honest. In my opinion, I do think he's cheated on her. I think she tried to backtrack it because later on she was like, well, no, it was just like inappropriate text messaging and like Gwen saw it. But like, we like got through it. Girl, either Lisa was right that you lied and you made it up, because Lisa clocked it. She goes, wow, you're really relatable now. Being like, you've created this storyline, you're crying over infidelity because you want the audience sympathy. You want to be, oh, like Bronwyn's so relatable. She's just like us. Her husband's a douchebag who cheats on her and doesn't pay any attention. That's not my life. I don't claim that, but you get what I'm saying. So that's why Lisa clocked it and was like, do you believe? And Meredith was just like, what? Like, do you believe this? Because this isn't tracking from like your picture perfect marriage that you've had this facade. I think that I do think Todd has cheated on Bronwyn. And I think that Bronwyn regretted saying it. And she was trying to pull it back by saying it was just inappropriate text messages. But I also think Lisa Barlow was correct, and that the core reason why Bronwyn brought it up was because she wanted to garner the sympathy and the relatability of the everyday girl watching the show. So I think both things can be true. I do think Lisa was right when she clocked it. It was like, wow, you're going to be really relatable now. But I also think Todd cheated on Bronwyn. That's just my opinion. Because I don't buy relationships. And again, I could be proven wrong. Who cares? I'm human. I'm wrong all the time. I just don't buy relationships where the partners are gone from away from each other for extended periods of time. That's not open. I just don't buy it. I just don't think your husband is going to be traveling 5 days out of the week, 3 weeks out of the month, 7 months out of the year, 8 months out of the year. Same thing with Meredith and Seth. His name is Seth, right? I always mix up their husband's name. Meredith and Seth? Sean? Whatever. Meredith and her husband, okay? I don't buy that. I don't buy that either. I think they're open. But I do think that they're open though. I don't think that they're cheating. I think it's, look, we're married, we've had these kids, we have these businesses, we have this brand. You do you when you want to do you, I'll do me when I want to do me. And I think this started before the show, because remember, clock back to season 1. The big rift between Lisa and Meredith was when Lisa was defending Meredith Jen Shaw, because Jen Shaw was like, oh yeah, Meredith is cheating. She's, going to New York and do whatever. And Lisa was like, no way. She's like, they're like our couple's friends. And then it turned out that Meredith and Seth, Sean, whatever his name is, were separated. And Lisa was like taken aback and like, maybe we're not good friends anymore. So I do think that Meredith and her husband have had an agreement for a while. And don't get me wrong, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that you should live your life and you should create the dynamics in your relationship that bring you and your partner the most joy. If it's monogamy, great. If it's being open, great. If it's swinging, cool. You like it, I love it. So there's no judgment there. I don't judge. I don't care. Do what makes you the most happy. But I do squint and question when people, and again, it's kind of iffy too, because I also don't think that you have to tell everybody your business. I think it's perfectly fine to be in a marriage and between you and your partner, it's open and you do what you want to do. But in the front of the face, you guys are monogamous or whatever, because at the end of the day, you don't owe this world your secrets. You don't owe this world, these people, any of that stuff. So I do like, and it's almost like I was saying before, you can be honest and authentic and transparent, but still be private, still have boundaries, still have secrets, and still make things that are sacred. Because also a lot of times when you tell people your business, they want to sabotage you or they use it against you. And also, unfortunately, in the society we live in, there still is this persona of what the typical successful family unit lifestyle looks like. So it could affect your business. It could affect your social standing. I'm not saying that's right, but that's how the world we live in. People still judge and have all these things, even though the people judging are usually doing stuff that's way worse, right? So I get that. But I always, in my mind, when someone's like, my husband travels, 70% of the time, and it's like, I'm like, yeah, who is he traveling into? Like, what? Like, come on. So the whole thing with like Bren, and turns out that her husband is like never there, and that they've also lived in separate homes. Not just that he's been traveling and comes back home, but he has like his own home, different places. And if you watch the after show, Angie was like, "Oh yeah, like we put our house up for sale, and Todd really liked it." And basically, Todd was like, "Oh, I'll buy this house to live in, and Bronwyn can stay at the house we're in, and she can come visit me." Now, you're telling me that's a happy marriage? You're telling me that's a man who's never cheated on his wife, who is so comfortable telling people that he's going to buy a house for himself and his wife can stay where she at? Come on. Also, Todd is mean as hell. He is mean as hell. I don't know if Bronwyn has daddy issues, and I don't mean that disrespectfully. I mean that in a real way. I don't know what her relationship is, with her parents. She got pregnant really young, out of wedlock. Maybe there's something going on there. I don't know. But her husband is mean as hell. Him and Bozema, kind of same energy. Like, same note to both of them. Are you happy to be here? Tell your face. Do you not know you signed up for a reality show by proxy with your wife? Bozema directly with yourself? Like, do you not know the cameras are here for a reason? Do you not know this is your call time? Like, clock in. He's mean as hell. And I don't even like Bronwyn like that because I think she's weird. I think she's very, you know what her problem is? Her problem is that she overcompensates so much that if she just actually reined it in, I bet you she would be a lot more likable. But it's like the theatrics of everything, and like, I know people said I was like, I wasn't pretty enough to be a trophy wife, and my husband's so older than me, and like, I can't believe I'm dating a man who has like AARP. It's like so over the top, and like people say I'm a gold digger. I'm drilling all the way down. Like, that's like very like weird stuff where it's just like, if you're like, hey, my name's Bronwyn, and I like to surf and go shopping. I don't know what the hell she does, but you know what I mean? If she was just more like normal, like me, I would just be like, hey, I'm Candy, what's up? And like just like talk. I would be like, hi, my name is Candy, and you guys probably think, oh my god, she's a social media influencer. Oh my god, how vapid. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just bizarre to me. Bizarre. And also, she pissed me off because you guys know this is another pet peeve I have. I don't ever think that you have to be blindly loyal to someone. Someone can do something really nice for you, i.e., bring you onto the show. Doesn't mean you have to be blindly loyal. You don't have to be an Anna Marie for Kyle. You don't have to do all that. That's not what I'm saying. But I do think there has to be a level of integrity that you have for the person who brought you in. And so for her to so quickly turn on Lisa, I mean, literally on a freaking dime, because Whitney Rose over here finally gave her a reason to showcase publicly her animosity and her vitriol and her, quite frankly, jealousy. Because at the end of the day, it is jealousy. And the way that people experience jealousy and the way that people manifest jealousy feels like hate. When you're like, why does this person hate me so much? Usually it's because they're jealous of you. And then they talk about you, they put you down, they gaslight you, they gang stalk you. They, like I said about provoking spirits, they try and provoke you to react so then they can call you crazy and they can say you're the problem. It's all of that, right? And so for me, when it comes to Bronwyn, that's a very dangerous person to be around. Someone who can so easily pretend to be your friend, but is so clearly jealous of you and then flip on you the moment somebody dangles a little bit of carrot in front of them. They flip on you so quickly. And then she has the audacity to be like, oh, I'm looking at you, Lisa. Why aren't you defending me, Lisa? Lisa, I'm looking at you. Like, why would Lisa defend you when the moment you got on the show, you flipped on her to be Team Whitney? And you're damn right Lisa put you in the other villa, as she should have. I'm confused why you're throwing a temper tantrum. Aren't you BFS with Whitney and Angie? Aren't you guys besties? You love bonding over hate and Lisa. Aren't you guys besties? You're damn right. Also, again, because I see my personality so much in Lisa Barlow, I would have done the same thing too, because I would have been on some get back the same way Lisa was. And I would justify it because remember when Bronwyn brought the group to Palm Springs for her like anniversary meet cute, whatever the hell it was? And what had happened was Lisa and John had the big fight with Whitney and Justin, over like, don't call my life an effing liar, blah, 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 blah. And they kind of had that, and the husbands got involved, and it was at that big thing. Okay. Again, remember, Lisa and Bronwyn were historical friends. They were friends. Lisa brought Bronwyn into the group. Bronwyn calls Lisa, hey, Lisa. Yeah, so, we're doing a trip to Palm Springs. And, I just want to make sure that, like, you and John are going to be okay because, like, Whitney and Justin are coming. Lisa clocked that 100%, as did I. I would have been like, what? Excuse me? Because basically what Bronwyn was doing was taking Whitney and Justin's side. What she said basically was, I've already decided and I'm already invited Whitney and Justin. They are coming. I'm just checking to make sure you and John are okay. So then I can extend the invite to you. Are you kidding me? And then that's when Lisa started to ghost her and like not talk to her and not respond to her. So then Bronwyn, you flip on your good friend Lisa so quickly to side with Whitney on your trip. And then the entire season, you continuously still flip on her and talk crap about her, only to then be like, oh, we talked crap about you. Sorry. Why would she put you in her villa on her trip? Do you know what I mean? So bye. And thank you, Natoski. Exactly. She threatened to kick out Lisa and her husband. Exactly. Thank you, Natoski, for that. 100%. 100%. Then Todd, with his weird, I don't even know what's going on with him. If Lisa can't get it together, you guys have to go. And again, projection. Todd is mad at Lisa, not because they're having their little squabble at the table, although I do think he's that petty. The real reason why Todd is mad at Lisa is because Lisa is close friends with Bronwyn, Gwen's father's family, Bronwyn's baby daddy family, the biological one. That's why Todd is pissed at Lisa, because Lisa is friends with them. And Lisa brought it to the show. And my mind was blown. I'm like, are people not like, am I the problem? Because when people were like, oh my God, Todd is so protective. Wow, Todd just looks like Gwen as like his own daughter. He's so I was like, protective? You mean controlling and crazy? The reason why he doesn't want Gwen to connect with her biological paternal family is because he wants to maintain control. Why else would you want to do that? By all means, sure, I get it. Gwen is 18 years old. 18, 19, because she was like 1 year less than Lisa's, whatever. She's around that age, okay? At this point, she should be able to make the decision if she wants to get to know them without being heavily influenced by the people who raised her. And to me, it seemed like Bronwyn was open to it if that's what her daughter wanted. Seems like she was almost like not jealous in a malicious way, but almost like, well, like, I wish I had that relationship. Like, I wish that they would be like open to me, but like, it's okay. It's my daughter. I want her to have that. But he was so staunchly like, no, she can't. And by all means, it doesn't seem like these people are evil. Like, don't get me wrong. It's wrong to shame a woman or a girl for getting pregnant. In wedlock, out of wedlock, teenager or 85. Wrong. Dead wrong. 100%. I'm not saying that's right. But we also have to put on our critical thinking hats and realize, like we're talking about in our societies and cultures, unfortunately, there is still that, maybe less so now, maybe not, depending on the family you're in or the culture you're in, where it's like, oh my God, the girl got knocked up out of wedlock. She's this, she's that. It's so shameful, blah, 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 all this, crap that really is just a bunch of crap. But it's so insidious and so institutionalized into our societal framework or our cultural framework, what things we are ashamed of, what brings our family shame, what our secrets are, all that. So I'm not saying it's right, but in the context of society and culture, I understand it happening. So I'm not saying that those people are evil for that. I think they're highly misled. I think that they were wrong. But I also think once their own child passed away because he died, I'm pretty sure their feelings on meeting their biological grandchild from their son who is no longer with us probably changed. So who knows? SW says that can be true, but they never reached out to her. Again, that is the only story we're getting from Bronwyn and Todd. I don't believe Bronwyn and Todd. I don't think that they tell the truth. They could have reached out, because what Lisa said was she knew them, she talked to them, and that they wanted to form a relationship with Gwen, that they wanted to. And what we saw was clearly Todd saying no. So we don't actually know if they've reached out or not. We just have to take Todd and Bronwyn's word for that. And we've already seen Bronwyn is a liar. And we've already seen how nasty and controlling Todd is. So I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's the only thing we're seeing. Because the thing is, if Lisa had said, because she's a third party in the situation, oh, I know them, and yeah, they don't want anything to do with her, they don't want it spoken about on camera, then that to me would be more like, wow, these are horrible people. But Lisa brought it up on camera. She was the one who brought the story to the camera, because everything happened between Lisa and Bronwyn off camera at the airport. And she was like, no, they want to meet her and like they're open to it. And we've seen Todd. So to be honest with you, I don't know if I believe the narrative that Bronwyn and Todd are saying. And Gwen's a child. She's going to, want to protect her mother's feelings. She's going to want to protect Todd's feelings because that's the only father she's known, and he's providing for them and all and everything else. So I think there's always two sides to the story. And my gut is that I think Todd just wants to be controlling. You know what I mean? And the fact that Lisa was comfortable talking about them on camera and said that they did want that they wanted to have a relationship with her makes me second guess what Bronwyn and Todd have been saying. So, and thank you, SW, for that comment, because that's a good thing to think about and talk about, because you're right. That is what they said. So thank you for that comment. You're right, So there's that. Meredith Marks, I actually have no notes for Meredith. Like, I love her. I like, ooh, sorry, you guys. I like knocked the table over. I really like Meredith. No notes for her. She was in and out of the season. Like, you know what I mean? She was either sleeping or she was activated, but whatever it was, I was here for it. I also love Lisa and Meredith's friendship. I love how they had the emotional intelligence not to allow the other women to pit them against each other. Love to see it. Love to see it. Yeah, no notes. I like Meredith, her like bar mitzvah, all of that. Angie married Cosby. Okay. You guys know I'm not an Angie stan. I don't like Angie. I think she's two-faced. I think she's jealous of Lisa. She's up Whitney's butt. I don't know why she got to sit next to Andy at the reunion. Ugh. I don't like Angie. I think she's really mean. I think she's really mean and really nasty. Like, the proof is in the pudding. What she said about Bronwyn, and I don't even rock with Bronwyn like that. And I was like, yikes. Like, what did Bronwyn do to you, Ange? Woof. So I don't know. I think Angie's really mean. I think she's also very two-faced. My also issue with Angie, because I really don't like personalities like this. We kind of touched about it on before. I really don't like personalities where they play the victim. In every single scenario, Angie's the victim. And mean Lisa Barlow is the perpetrator. Wah, wah, wah. When she has said lies, has gossiped, has said really mean things, has flip-flopped, has tried to throw, like, Angie's just as bad as everybody else, but she just is like, "Ugh, I don't know, you guys." Like, she guys kind of plays dumb and, all of this stuff, and people don't really take her that seriously. But she's nasty. Angie's a nasty person. And she will do it. She'll throw the dirt and then play the victim. Like when season opening, when Lisa had confided in Angie and Heather about feeling some type of way about Whitney calling her the villain, what did Angie do? Whitney, boss Whitney, guess what Lisa said about you? Even before Lisa could do it. But then Angie got all up in arms and played the victim when Heather did the same thing when Angie was talking about Lisa being a bad mom. So what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Angie can't always play the victim when she does the same thing. And then she tries to gaslight us. Like, we all know Angie and Whitney had a pact. They were an alliance. Like, nobody can tell me that they weren't. Angie and Whitney were an alliance. They clearly wanted to take down Lisa Barlow. They enlisted Bronwyn because she was a hater as well and was easily flippable. But then that's when they got pissed at Bronwyn when Bronwyn tried to flip back to Lisa. Remember? And it was the whole thing where were they? They were at some like skiing snow situation and they were all sitting around, and then they all flipped on Bronwyn because Bronwyn then was like, "But no, Angie, you said this about Lisa. You said this about Heather. Whitney, you said this about Lisa. You said this about Heather." And then they got mad at Bronwyn because she was basically like telling it and spilling it because she wanted to be back with Lisa Barlow. Remember? And then that's when Whitney and Angie turned on Bronwyn. They were cool with Bronwyn as long as she was flippable. As long as she was going against Lisa, as long as she was going against Heather, Bronwyn was cool. But the moment Bronwyn wanted back in, they flipped on her because they were using her the whole time. The whole time, obviously. Mary Cosby. Okay. I liked Mary a lot more this season. I think we talk about Erica's redemptive season. I think this was Mary Cosby's redemption season. She redeemed herself. She was actually talking and engaging again because I think she had to. I think she needed the Bravo check. I don't know what's going on with her church. Word on the curb is her home has been foreclosed on. And I'm not saying this to be shady. I'm just saying that I think it's very ironic that the people who act like they are above it all are above it all until they need that check. Then she came in swinging. So I think the reason why I think Mary clocked in, two reasons. One, I think she needed the Bravo check because I think the church has dried up, the allegations of a cult and people no longer like all of that stuff. And then also home foreclosure and the pending alleged divorce from, her husband. Again, not shocked because when your husband, and again, when these people have these marriages where the husband is traveling all year or the husband lives in a different wing of the house, it's not a marriage. It's not. So nobody's really shocked by that. So I think she needed the check. I think the alleged upcoming divorce. And also, I think a PR campaign for her son. And when I say that, I don't mean that in a disrespectful way because I think that a lot of celebrities and influencers and reality stars, they do that when they or someone in their camp is facing legal issues. Her son was facing drug charges and driving charges while drunk or intoxicated, all that. He was facing all of those things. And so I think that she also wanted a platform to reframe the narrative around him and what he was going through to get him leniency. By the end of the episode, by the end of the season, that perfect arc, he's now in rehab, it's like that perfect arc. But I say that to say this, That's okay. I'm not mad at that. I'm not judging that. You know, if you have a platform and you can help your family and you can help yourself in these, you know, jams, knock yourself out. Also, because even though I do think that Mary coming on the show and particularly her showing her son was strategic to get him sympathy and to get out of some of the legal stuff he has going on, I'm still happy, not happy that he's in that place or that happened, and I hope he's doing great. So I don't mean happy that way. I mean happy that it was on camera and showed to the world, because even though I do think it was strategic, I still think it was authentic and I still think it was raw, and I still think it could save someone. If somebody's watching that and their child is in trouble, or if they are in trouble, you know, seeing that representation on TV, someone being honest about, well, you know, I didn't want to be here anymore, or I tried this drug, I tried that drug, and I'm depressed and I'm going through this and all of these things. And they are being vulnerable enough to share some of the darkness in their life. That darkness in turn could shine a light on somebody else's life. So even though I think it was strategic, and I'm not judging her for that, because all of these celebrities do it, all of these, you know, famous people do it, all of these whatever people, anybody with a platform that is able to create a narrative does it. So I'm not judging Mary for it by any means, especially for her son. Come on. I still think it was very powerful, and I still think it was very meaningful, and I still think it could really help save some people. You know what I mean? So there's that. I also will say for Mary, I loved the self-awareness at the finale when she's talking to Angie and the girls about her abandonment issues. And she's like, I was abandoned. And as an adult, I lead with that. And that is why I do X, Y, and Z. Love the self-awareness, because there's a lot of wounded people walking around. There are people who are walking around with abandonment wounds, the mother wound, the father wound, the trauma wound, the this wound, the that wound, bleeding on everybody else with zero self-awareness that you are the problem. And by the problem, I don't mean that like there's something wrong with you because you have an abandonment issue or a trauma or a wound. There's nothing wrong with you. It just means that you're a human being and something happened to you. And this is how your mind and your soul and your psyche and your body learned to cope and adapt. But what used to save you is now sabotaging you. So that's why when you become an adult, a lot of things you did to save yourself and protect yourself as a child become self-sabotage. So I thought that that was really a good case of self-awareness, being like, this is how I am. I know this is how I am, and this is why I'm that way. You know, because we all have something. We all do. If you are a human being and you are blessed enough to be breathing on this planet, something has happened. Doesn't mean it's a huge catastrophic thing, but something has happened that has conditioned or molded or shifted the way in which you see the world, the way in which you experience things. That's why people have triggers. That's why people respond to things differently. Someone could say something to me and I would be like, ha ha ha. They could say the same thing to my best friend and she could cry, or my other best friend and she could laugh, or my other best friend and she could pop off. Because the people, it's not what is happening, it's the lens in which you experience what is happening. And if you experience the world through abandonment, then no matter what that person is doing, you will ultimately be abandoned. Whether it's true abandonment or perceived abandonment, your experience will be of abandon, because that's the lens in which you saw it through, right? So that was great self-awareness there. And I'll just say that for Mary. And she wasn't as mean, which I like. A lot of people like Mary's shade. I always thought she was really mean. I always thought it cut down a little bit too much to the bone, but that's just me. That's just me. Oh, wait. Hey.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Good, good, good. Wait 1 second. I'm about to wrap up and then I'm going to go down the list.
Okay.
Happy MLK Day. Okay. So yeah, so that's kind of how I feel about Mary. I liked her this season. Thought it was good opening up. Mary, you need to leave Meredith alone though, because again, like I said before, you don't ever have to be blindly loyal to someone, but have integrity for the person who held you down. Because let's be very clear. If it were not for Meredith Marks, Mary Cosby would not be back on the show. Meredith was the only person who would film with her, who would talk to her, who would be down for her. All the other women kind of like skated around Mary, thought she was kind of weird. Meredith really held Mary down. So again, maybe whatever, you might not like the person as much, that's cool, but don't go after or put somebody down who held you down. Have some of your own integrity. Like me, if somebody really held me down, had my back, did me a solid, even if we do have a falling out or we don't rock the way we used to rock, I would never speak badly or go after that person because of the integrity I have for myself and the humility I have for myself. That if somebody did that for me, doesn't mean I have to rock with you if that's where we're at, but I would never tear someone down who did a solid for me. That's just not how I personally roll. All right, who else is on here? Brittany. I have nothing for Brittany other than get off my screen. Okay, so with that, let's open it up. We'll start with Tay Tay, because I think, and then we'll go to Natasha, then Johnny, then back up to Adam, then to Mel, because Adam and Mel got to share for Beverly Hills.
What's up, Candy?
Hello, Happy New Year.
Oh, happy Martin Luther King's birthday.
Yeah, happy MLK Day. And happy Kamala Harris Day, too.
Yeah, Team Kamala.
Team Kamala.
Yeah. So, love the finale, Salt Lake City. Absolute perfect finale. Lisa Barlow owned Whitney twice. Meredith tagged in the dinner. And the truth was revealed that Lisa reached out to Monica.
No, Whitney reached out to Monica.
No. Yeah, Whitney. Whitney reached out to Monica.
Whitney, yeah.
We all knew, because I don't know why. And people wanted Monica back, or a bunch of clowns. Like, why would you want Monica back? Like you said on Heather Gay, you're right. Heather Gay is a hypocrite. Just like Mary said on one episode, like she said that, remember the black guy thing and the body positivity, those two are lies. And Heather Gay, she do leave a trail of lies. Brittany can go too. Like, I'm on the fence with her. Well, for one moment, I want to like her, I want to root for her, I want her to stay, but then she's doing those stupid antics, like recording the whole cast, like pissing off the cast, like Mary. And Mary, I wasn't a fan of Mary Cosby, but Mary Cosby, I actually enjoyed Mary this season. I like when she got Whitney together. Like the Mary and Angie were crying together at the dinner, which was so sweet. Yeah. Poopwin, as Jenny Blaze calls Bronwyn, like, she's not for me. Like, I mean, we seen white for her from the jump. Like, Bronwyn is too much. Like, her and her husband are weird. And did you see the reunion trailer when Todd trying to like come for Lisa?
Yeah. And John's like, watch your tone. I love John.
Yeah. We the Barlow stands for a reason.
100%.
We know each other.
We see each other.
Whitney Rose can go
to hell.
Yeah, that part. Yeah, I'm done with Whitney Rose. I can't wait to see her ass on the unemployment line alongside with Monica. She could take Brittany with her. Meredith, you know, she might leave the show. I think at the reunion when say something about Seth and with upon Ohio, I think she might be leaving the she might be leaving the set. But if Meredith leaves, then I'm alright with it because did she have one storyline outside of with the Jewish embracing Jewish stuff?
Yeah.
Angie, I was on the fence with her, honestly. I mean, I want Angie to stay, and same with Brownwind. But she did everything. I think she deserved the first seat next to Annie. Like I have to disagree with you on that. Like she deserved the spot. Like she worked her ass off all season. She was activated. The times that I agree with her, the times that I disagree with Angie, I do think
Yeah.
that
Mm-hmm.
you know that scene, makes reminded me why I liked Angie in the first place. It reminded me of the Angie that I used to like. That I still like Angie, but what
Mm-hmm.
she's been up Whitney's ass all season. But
There you go.
yeah, do I have I ran out? Lisa Barlow. This is the Lisa Barlow show. This is clearly the Lisa Barlow show.
Yeah.
One of the producers said it that Lisa Barlow was made the show, and yeah. So yeah, and Lisa Barlow is on the Salt Lake show. We've seen her a couple times before. Like, what do you
Mm-hmm.
think of the show so far? I think it's not bad. You know, Matt, Matt's an asshole. Jen,
Uh,
the owner of Presidio.
yeah.
Jen. I don't know why she's sticking up for Matt. I mean, she should be like sticking for the girls because the girls have valid reasons. Although
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't the place to do it.
Right.
I get what Jen was saying about that when
Well,
bringing up that's not
Tay.
Adam.
Wait for Sold on Salt Lake, because I want Natasha to go for Salt Lake City.
All right, yeah.
Thank you, Tay Tay. All right, go on, Natasha.
Oh my god, I was talking and the thing was up. Amateur. It's been so long I forgot. Oh
Hey,
my god,
hey.
hey. Um I will admit that I didn't finish the last episodes. I only went halfway, but I still got the, you know. Oh my god. I feel like my ADHD is gonna kick in. So Lisa, yeah, Lisa's our girl. I don't really need to say much. Um I definitely think like when she's like flipping out, it's just out of like almost like fatigue from it all. And like, yeah, they are all baiting her. And it's like, and then they want to weaponize her reaction. It's typical like manipulation. Um, okay, so like remember last year we were or was it last year or was it the beginning of this year? When did like
Ew.
have when did Heather and Lisa like first start getting along? And we were like, okay.
Monica. It was the Monica. The Monica situation brought them all together.
Okay. So I was like for it and I liked it and it was the first time I like appreciated Heather a little bit. But then did you guys notice there was like that part where it was Angie, uh Whitney and I guess Bronwyn. And Bronwyn was talking about the whole she was complaining and Heather was there. And she was complaining how Meredith and Lisa's reaction, how they were like kind of defending Todd. And Heather was the one that was like, that's because they relate to that situation the most. Do you remember
Yep.
that?
I do. She was like, well, that's because both of them have been accused of cheating. So they want to be on the side of forgiveness, like that side. So Heather basically was saying that Lisa cheated and Meredith cheated. And then she deflected it. And I don't think Meredith knew it. I don't think Meredith and Lisa knew it came from Heather. I think they thought it just came from Whitney and Angie and Bronwyn.
Right. And I watched like
Yep.
Heather get all nervous and purposely play dumb and deflect and
Yep.
kind of like I watched the way she was moving when it like kind of came to light a little bit. She looked
Yep.
so nervous and was like, oh, you know what I mean? And I was like, ew, Heather, you're back to your old tricks. I can't. Back in the doghouse you go, you know.
Exactly. It's like the Tyra, I was rooting for you because I never liked Heather in the beginning, and then I flipped
Never.
and I started to like her. I was like, oh, I like Heather now. But now that I see how dirty and how much she's moving and how grimy she is, her
Yeah,
and Whitney both should be fired, to be honest. They both need to go.
honestly, I'm sick of
And
Heather.
take little Bronwyn Angie with you.
And we were rooting for her because we all did not like her. We were all I was like the least fan that you could ever be. Like um okay, who's next? Brittany? Brittany's like a psycho. Like I can't.
She's
Did
a
you
mess. And
did
she
you
was recording them. She needs to just own that.
that is scary and creepy. But
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not gonna lie, she was like psychotically iconic when she was like, guys, and she like stood up at a dinner party. What about me? And you're like, oh my god. Um, she's so psycho, and she
Hot
is
mess.
absolutely in the dark about how psycho she is.
Yeah.
Um, and then like, ew, did you see that Instagram live where she's like finally got her Curities straight?
She is so thirsty, and she was
And
mad
she's
because
like singing creepily, and I'm like, what is
and then
going
she got
on?
mad because I think Lisa Barlow I think it was Lisa who actually got the paid campaign because then she was like, someone stole my campaign. So I think she was just posting, and I think Lisa got the paid one because Lisa did a whole sponsored campaign for them.
It's like, oh, the brand that she mentioned,
He
not
mentioned
you.
exactly.
Like just because you have dry hair doesn't mean she's the one who
Girl.
mentioned the brand. Like,
Yeah.
shut up. Yeah, she's a whole psycho. I can't with her. Whitney, I agree with you. I think when she talks and her little like weird little like it just gives like very like rat energy and like yeah, like my soul wants to escape my body whenever she speaks. I'm just over her. I think she's creepy. I don't think she's like a real person. I think she's like demonic. She does have a what'd you call it? Instigating spirit. What kind of thing?
No, a provoking spirit.
Yeah, she does. She is
I
absolutely
rebuke
provoking.
provoking spirits in the name of Jesus. I rebuke you.
Yeah, we're rebuking
Ugh.
you, Whitney. We do not consent. Thank you. Um, Meredith is kind of growing on me. I was never super Meredith fan, although I did like the dynamic of the two, like the first season or whatever. But she kind of like made me fall asleep for a lot, and she got on my nerves. But I mean, I'm almost like not mad at her, like not having a storyline or whatever. I don't know. I just something about her. She just seems chill. And like I do like the dynamic with her and Lisa this time. I like how they're like, no, we're good and we're gonna be good because we're actually the real ones here. And they're like they kind of just like have this understanding and I love that for them. Um Bronwyn's just weird. Um, you're right. It's like she wants to play both sides of the fence. It's like there's two sides of her. There's like the side where she like wants to be this like center of attention and be selfish and do all this stuff, but then there's like this like insecure side where she's like, "Well, Lisa, you don't like me. Like you're not being a good friend. Me. You know what I mean?" It's just weird. Todd is strange and scary. His tone of voice, it's giving yikes, you know? Hello, can you guys hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. I just
Okay.
muted myself, but I was still talking to you. Yes, we can hear you. You're doing great.
I was like, hello? Um, yeah, he gives me like the heebie-jeebs or something off with his energy. Like I get almost like evil, and I'm not even trying to be dramatic about it. It's just like, oh, creepy, almost like not serial killer energy, but like something just like dark. I'm just getting dark energy from him. And the way he like talks to her and he's
I
like,
get the energy of like he definitely has like teenage girls trapped in his basement.
yes.
You know what I mean? Like that
Mm-hmm.
energy. Like, he's not killing them. He's like kidnapping them. And like, they're, he has like 5 and they're all chained.
Yep.
And like
Against
2
the
are pregnant.
wall.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. The fact we said that with like being dead serious too.
Well, I put on my lip gloss. I was like, listen.
We were 100% serious too. Like, it was like saying the most outrageous thing in the whole world. But like, I am serious, but I recognize how crazy that sounds.
I'm dead ass serious.
100% serious, but I still have the wherewithal to know how that sounds. Like, yeah, Angie. Although I do kind of like her with Meredith, just like the comfort that she brings. I can appreciate that with her. But yeah, she's doing too much. Her husband, yuck, not a fan. The way he just seems like one of those petty little husbands that gets involved in like women business and stuff. And I can't stand that. It's like, ew. He definitely like, I think they definitely have like a weird relationship too. I'm not really sure the dynamics. Um, Not really sure if it has anything to do with his sexuality, but like there's like, it's like they're not, they don't seem to be connecting.
It's giving Jessel and Pavitt, where it's like they're just best friends who chose to do life together.
Exactly.
And they're both messy as hell.
Messy. Petty, messy. Yeah.
Messy, all the things. One quick second. Miss T says, who's that girl in the small picture? I forgot she was there. What's her name? Mealy or Melee, whatever her name was. But she was supposed to be a friend of, but she got super demoted because I think she was saying like some horrific things on like Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. Something came out where she was basically like a bad person. So they basically
not again.
Out. Yeah. Yeah.
And I forgot that tiny picture.
Comment, I may or may not have cried during that scene. No, I was like snot, like ugly cry.
I was ugly crying.
I was like, oh my God, Robert. When he was like, I didn't want to be, like, I was like.
When he said he didn't want to live here, like,
yeah.
Like, I was like, I lost it.
I was like, I can't.
The waterworks entered the building.
100%. 100%. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. And then the last one, Mary, although, like, I don't like the way she's moving with Meredith. Like you said, like, that woman stood by you with nobody. Absolutely nobody. Like, she held you down so hard. And it's just giving, like, one thing went wrong, and now, like, you're a little more comfortable with others. So now you're like, bye. You know what I mean? But then there's the other side where, like you said, it probably all is true, her motivation to be on the show and be more active. However, I do like her more active. I do like her participating and not seeming so like bored with it all like she always was all the other seasons.
But you know what it is too? I think her life circumstances humbled her.
Yeah.
In the good humble, not not the toxic, like I'm gonna humble this chick. Not that, but like I think her life has humbled her, and that's why she's softer and lighter and not as she was, and that's why I think she's more likable. It's sort of like Giselle. I think her life has humbled her. Like her father passing, Robbie getting fired, just other things going on in her life, her girls leave. Like I think her life circumstance has humbled her, and that's why she's more likable. Like I like Giselle way more than I ever did before, because she's having more vulnerability and she's softer. I think the same thing with Mary. I think maybe the divorce, the church being closed, for like the house being foreclosed on, her son's addiction issues, those life circumstances will humble you real quick, but not in the toxic way. But in
a way where you're like, I'm reflective now, and I'm
yeah.
Okay, I don't know. I feel like when she was like coming into that bar mitzvah, that was like too much. I was dying. But I think that's it. But I just want to say, I forgot when you do that thing where you're like, Papa. Oh my God. I lose it every time. I'm like, she did not just say Papa.
Papa.
Why is that so funny to me? I don't know. I'm weird.
Because Bronwyn, she's a
It's just
weirdo.
but that's so accurate. It's like,
So accurate. It's
oh, I love it.
awful.
All right, I'm done.
All right, it's so good. All right, Jawani, you want to go? Or Johnny?
Hey, happy
Hey,
MLK Day and
happy MLK
Team
Day.
Kamala up in
Happy
here.
Kamala Day.
All right. So first things first, I would say this was a spectacular season and this was a spectacular finale. Um, every girl irritated me at one point. Every person made me happy at one point, and I feel like that's a good show when that happens. So I'm gonna just go down the line like you did, and I would say Lisa, star. She was the star of the show. Period. Point blank. My sad sister. She held it down. I just wish she was less reactive, but like I said, I feel like she been nice for too long, and that's just my guilty pleasure of her wearing these girls out when they come for her. Heather. Everybody who knows me. I did not like Heather from the beginning since season one reunion. I think she's kind of snakish, want to fit in, etc., etc. But I will say this finale, after she read Mary's text message, I kind of understand her more. Like she said, yeah, back then the reason, like she used to get walked over, so she kind of gives Mean Girl now because her boundaries are different. So I'm gonna give Heather grace there, cause Bronwyn girl, bye. Brittany, child. Brittany is like, I don't even know what to say about Brittany, honestly. Brittany's a hot mess with nothing going on. I think that's the best way to put it. Do I want her to come back? I wouldn't mind it if she stays a friend. But if she gets a snowflake, they better run because it's gonna be a Mia 2.0. Um, Whitney, same with Heather. Didn't like her from the beginning. Still don't like her. She just loves. She's been talking about Lisa since season one, 5 years straight. And it's like, girl, pick a hobby. You know you want to be her friend. And oh, and also I actually had a hit tweet with Lisa Barlow saying how she's not allowed to be, you know, herself in this group because she's really not a deep person. They need to allow her to not be a deep person because a lot of different people are meant for different things in your life. So they need to stop expecting so much from Lisa, and that's why I need Whitney and Angie and Bronwyn to stop doing. Because she is a good friend, she's just not a friend y'all want her to be. So now I'm gonna go down to Meredith. Meredith, she needs to go on a soap opera show ASAP. Get a contract, be a soap opera actress. You will make bank. Okay? Because the way she gives the theatrics every time, I live for it. Bronwyn, like I said, I liked you at first, but you kind of disappointed me by throwing Angie and Whitney under the bus twice when they was by your side, and low key Heather as well. If I feel like with Bronwyn, I feel like she thinks that being real means throwing people under the bus when being real is just being transparent about what you got going on, and that's it with her. Miss Angie, I like Angie. I know you don't like Angie, but I like Angie. I like her in the sense that she kind of remind me of Candace. She is mean. I will say she is mean, but I feel like she can be nice if she was just stop being mean. So I have my hopes up for Angie. I do like Angie. I also think like I was like watching back. Jen wasn't the nicest person to her. Monica wasn't the nicest person to her. So I feel like this is probably her season where she's just like, I don't care. So I'm giving her grace there. And Mary had the best personal story of Housewives in a long time this year. Very relatable, very forthcoming,
Mhm.
just very moving to say. And I'm happy for her because she's going to change lives with that story, and she also looks healthier and better this year than she ever did
She
before.
does. And her spirit feels different too. Like I
And
feel
yeah,
like something was right in Mary, and I think it's gotten off of her now.
yeah, she looks way like I was watching season 1 earlier,
Yeah,
and she looks so better now.
so much better.
And Maylee should have been first chair.
Exactly, right next to Andy. Aw, thank you. Those are great insights. All right, so let's go back to the top. Adam, you want to share, sweetheart?
Sure. With this season, it's been a good season for one main reason. That's because of Lisa Barlow, the MVP. Let's just get that straight. Lisa Barlow is the only 10 on this show. She keeps it 100. And I think in this finale, by default, the way that this went about in such a dirty manner, she was going to lose her cool. And I think, the whole thing about Angie and her, I think, if you're going to throw stones, don't live in a glass house type of vibe. And Angie, to me, tries to kind of have this secretive way that she is always just nice and I'm this innocent person. But I just don't quite understand this facade with Mary, because Mary's go-to line last season was, "Who is Angie?" Just throwing shade at Angie like every second she could. So to me, that's just phony as anything. And thanks to Lisa Barlow on the after show, she even mentioned that. She was like, "How are you actually being friends with someone who would not give you any?" she just wouldn't let Angie have a second of a moment last season. I like Meredith, always have, except her son does annoy me because he's just looking to be like some TikTok famous person. I don't know what it is. But I think with her, most of the scenes I like with her is when Lisa's there. Kind of, I think, kind of that energy. But with Heather, I think it's a deep one. The hypocrisy, the attitude that she plays innocent, kind of like Kyle. Like she's kind of that Kyle Richards, but with less money, type of vibe. That my life is perfect, nothing's wrong attitude. Bronwyn, I don't really know what to say about her. Like, as I was saying with some other cast members of other shows, kind of, I like her house more than I like her. Like, that's kind of the vibe.
That's the dog poop, though.
I didn't. I mean, I don't even know what that was, but just I just think kind of the husband. I was really shocked how the husband like has this low self-esteem at the reunion. I mean, John Barlow was just chill, and he was just like, "I think you are the one who needs to watch your tone," and like, it's just weird energy. But
he's mean.
Yeah, I don't really know why. It's strange, but 100. But Whitney is the most problematic person of them all. That associate of hers, who, as I dubbed earlier, the Vanderpump Rules rejects, he was on the game, he was on the plan, and he got caught out. And he has a history with being divisive and what have you. And if you're going to go into business with Monica Garcia, then something's not wired up personally. I don't know what that is. And I I don't also like people who don't take accountability. It kind of that vibe with the Nats, you know, it was always I'm this accountability coach, and Lisa Vanderpump was about, well, what about Miss Effin Avoidability? How about that one? That's his personality to me as well, and I think that the whole thing, trying to paint Lisa Barlow this bad picture, just for no reason. Like, what did she do to him? Oh yeah, absolutely nothing. She is the most realist person on that show, and little do people know, the reason why Salt Lake City is a show is thanks to Lisa Barlow pitching it to the production company and NBC. And I as you know, Freddie is in touch with Lisa Barlow, and they met just before it hit
Can
the
I
union.
can I get some Vita tequila? Like,
Yeah,
can
I
I
mean,
get
that's
Charlotte? What the hell?
she said she's going to get a license for it to be over here, so I'm looking forward to that. And I don't like Angie, but she's good television when Lisa spells it out to her. I think those kind of scenes, even though they're not nice to Lisa, I kind of find those entertaining. And I don't know why, and I'm still quite puzzled, but for some reason this season she's been treated like she's the most valuable person. She's the center of the cast photo.
I'll never get it. I'll never get it.
And I was really surprised because she wasn't someone who came from the first season, and usually with all these shows they always keep the OGs like in the center, and I was just really kind of like, what is this? But if I had to just give my honest take on my top three, gold will be Lisa Barlow, the MVP. I liked it when Meredith was spilling it out to the psycho about recording everyone. I mean, that is just borderline creepy. I mean, I don't even know what that is. And unfortunately, I will give Angie third place. I think entertainment-wise, her and Lisa going at it, I like that. Not it for the best or the worst. I think Lisa Barlow and her going at it, actually, for me, have been pretty much the favorite scenes of this season. And I'm looking forward to the reunion of Lisa Barlow spelling everything out to her. And I am intrigued, though, to see why this coming week or next week, whenever we get to see it, that Lisa Barlow and Angie have had to have this code words to basically shut, because Angie Cohen was like, give me code words, and I'm also intrigued to see why Meredith walks out of the reunion set.
Time will tell.
Who would your top three be if you had to? Because obviously you like Lisa Barlow, the MVP, but who would you say after her brought it to you the most?
I would say Lisa. Actually, Meredith, because even though Meredith was like not even featured as much as the other women, when she was activated, she was activated. You can leave. And she actually had a lot to do with a lot of this stuff. Like, her and Angie were beefing. Then her and Brittany were beefing. Then her and, she brought it up to Whitney, about Up and Adam. She was the who contacted me. Like, Meredith brought it this season, low key. She had her whole bar mitzvah. I loved her and Lisa Barlow, like, love the emotional intelligence where it's like, you're not going to manipulate me into hating my friend. Like, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to flip for you. So I love Lisa. I love Meredith. I think my third favorite of them, I would say Mary, because I think she had the most real personal story that could actually really transform lives. And I think it's cool when Real Housewives can actually be that um impactful. And I also think that Mary's own transformation has been really cool. You know, we talked about her season 1. She was very mean, very dark, looked really bad, you know, like really thin, and to look at her now, she's light and she's glowing and she's talking and her cheeks are full and she's being honest. So I think her transformation has been something to see in and of itself, along with her child. So I would say Lisa, Meredith, and Mary were my top 3. And then everybody else kind of played into those.
Interesting.
Orange Blossom says, my top 3 is probably Mary, Brittany, tied between Lisa and Angie. Brittany? What do you mean, Brittany? Orange Blossom, you gotta explain Brittany. Not Brit. Yep. So Mel, NYC, you want to share? And thank you, Adam.
Yeah, you know what? I was just listening. You know what's so funny, Candy? While you were breaking, not breaking down, when you were talking about these ladies, I done ate dinner. I done did my dishes. I done went to the trash can. Like I literally did everything I need to do while I was listening to everything, which is kind of fun. Cause I thought, oh my gosh, I'm not sure if I could. So this is pretty good. Yeah, my gosh. Okay, so I'm gonna start with Bronwyn, Miss Newport cigarettes. For me, when it comes to her, you hit it right on the head. I didn't know what the issue was. I don't know if it's the issue, but she reminded me, and no shade to her at all, absolutely not, no shade at all. But she reminded me of the young contestants on Drag Race when they come into the room on RuPaul Drag Race. They come into the room, and they just like they dipping and doing all that, just stunts and shows, all that kind of stuff. She gives me that. She gives me very super prepared to be on the show. I think she had a fear in her mind that if she came on this show with these heavy hitters who are, very, all these ladies, they definitely will put you through your paces. She was going to be on TV looking like Britney. She was going to get eaten up. She's going to be crying all the time. So that's why she was always super prepared with her reads and all her energy. It just seemed very extra. And her fashion was extra. So everything was just too much. And it does seem like she came in there like a 20 when she should have came in on 7. So, and also that the way she sound, yeah, it's definitely given Kim Zodiac. It's given that energy that when you're out in
Right?
Atlanta, yeah. It's like definitely like she was, and she was she was in the salon. She picked up some things of how people were talking, and then she came up on the show and thought that she was going to serve. And yes, definitely she need to come back to be her authentic self. But the reason I said juicy earlier, and this was a little while, you see, when I watched the show, I'm watching on Bravo. This is the one franchise I don't really go into the blogs. I don't go into Twitter. I don't do it. So when I come here, you educate me because I never know. Even I think last year when I came here with Monica, I didn't know anything about her, and you again educate me at that time too. So tonight, when you brought up Adam, Adam is messy. I mean, not the one on the panel, the other one, the up and Adam person.
Yeah.
He is now. I mean, because I was like, oh my gosh, I never knew that these people were talking to the up and Adam, and then of course Heather with her $20,000 glasses, that lady over there. So that's crazy. But yeah, I believe that about Adam. He is super messy. I think because I listen. I mean, it's just what it is. I think he's super messy and annoying. I'm not subscribed to his channel. I thought that he was a hot mess. But yeah, I think that is crazy that these people do talk to all these bloggers online, and it is hypocritical. It's not crazy and evil as you said Monica was, but it is hypocritical that they talk to all these. And that Monica, to her credit, she seemed to want to go detail at one point and say, I know that you all talk to blogs. You, like you said tonight, they do talk to it, and maybe not to the degree where you want to be obsessive and be in people's trash cans and mailbox, but you definitely are talking to blogs. You're setting each other up. You're getting mad, and you're afraid that they're going to expose you. So yeah, that definitely was very interesting. You brought that up. I'm going to rewatch this episode tonight because I'm going to really soak it all in because it was a lot. I want to really get all the stuff. Go to different. I want to do all that because you gave me a lot of stuff to really rewatch and to research. Angie, I think it was on your show probably earlier this season. I thought that she was definitely extra with that scroll. She came in and she was also just being too extra, too much. But listen, when you get Mary Cosby crying and you holding her hand, giving her sugar and doing all that good stuff, I'm not sure if you're perfect, but I kind of have warmed up to Miss Angie because the way she held down Miss Mary, who I've actually liked since day one. I don't like the way she talks about different groups, on the show over the time. I don't like that. I don't like when she talk about the Walmart or whatever kind of supermarket, whatever she said she was afraid of, and talk about different people groups. No, I don't like that. But I've always liked Mary with all her stuff. So those scenes actually made me get emotional. I will say her Mary and her son, Mary and her friendships. It was a shock. It was a revelation to me actually. Again, as a person who doesn't know all the behind the scenes, I was very moved by Miss Mary this season. Whitney was forgettable. I didn't really, she wasn't somebody that I really, worried about. But I will say this too. I love how much you identify with Lisa Barlow. I love that because for me,
Oh
I,
yeah.
you know what?
Spirit and like me and
So
Lisa, I've never and by full transparency, I've never met her or talked to her. I'm not like a up and at 'em person where it's like it's not any of that. It's
yeah.
authentic. Like I just her personality I so get because I'm so similar to her in like my real life.
Mhm.
So similar. So when she gets like clocks things and says anything, I'm like, yep, 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 yep,
So
yep, yep.
you know what? That listen, it's a maybe the housewives are like our new astrology signs. Like basically, we pick a housewife and go, you know what? This who represent me. You're Lisa Barlow. You know who I am? I'm a Candace Diller bastard. I love her down to the core.
Ooh.
You know what's so funny? What's so funny about me is I come to the show. I'm going to people's virtual houses. And I act like I'm supposed to, like, politically correct. But offline, Miss Candy, I do. I'm from New York City, so I definitely have that mouth on me. I really I go Brooklyn on the person real quick. I go Harlem, I go Brooklyn, I go there very much so. So online, I don't do this. So I love Candace, and I love that you love Lisa. But I think that the connection that I'm feeling with you is that the same way I had my frustration with Candace when they would trigger her all the time. They would talk about her house or this, or they would do it because they wanted to get a reaction from her. And they do the same thing now. People love or hate. They did the same thing for Teresa in New Jersey. There's always a character in Nene too. There's always a character on these shows. They go, you know what, girls? Okay, let's go get Nene. Okay, let's go get Candace. Let's go get Ramona or Luann. Let's go get Lisa right now. Let's say something about her business or her marriage, and bam, they react. So it's like they all have that. You're right. There's one of those characters on every show that will that the girls know they will give a big reaction. So yeah, hopefully she'll learn that. Yeah, I agree with you about that. Yeah, I think it's about it. I forgot about Meredith too. I wasn't really feeling her that much. And Brittany, you know what? I don't think she's a hurtful person. I think she's harmless. I think she's a little dizzy. Maybe she'll get the badge of dizzy like Karen gave to Robin and at Potomac. She's a little dizzy. I think she has a beautiful voice. I replayed some of her singing. I think she has a beautiful voice. Yeah, that's about it. But that's all I can say. But that tea about Adam was something else. I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't heard about him in years. I haven't been on his little sector for a long time. So that's
Yeah.
interesting.
He was coming out. He was pissed. He was talking about Whitney. Like they had a whole falling out over the situation.
So you remember? So this is a little off the show a little bit. I remember when I used to follow him. That was when he was really in exposed, Mr. Up and Adam. He had did this infamous live stream with Zach and his husband at one point, and they were all out trying to do, like the tour. They were doing the tours,
Mhm.
and he was online, a little drunk, and he was not talking very politically correct. Nothing too major, but they were a little more mean spirit. Nothing to do with anybody's race or look, but they were
Oh,
just
good. Oh,
they were
good.
just giving a little, I can't say that
Zach.
word on. I was going to say the C word. They was giving a little of that, like
Gotcha.
Erica Jane. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So they were giving that energy, and I was like, this is not the Disney character that they show on YouTube. This is
Right.
given, West Hollywood mean, LGBT, this kind of
Yeah.
situation. So yeah, at that point I said, wow, he definitely has different side to him. Not very nice, having issues. And they had an issue with Zach at one point. Again, another person who I don't like. I don't like those kind of energy. Those guys, they too weak for me. I like people to be real.
Okay.
So yeah, I since that part I was out. So the fact that these ladies was still connecting with him and all that, I was like, oh wow, that's a blast in the past.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, like with him, he's just, as I said, someone who takes no accountability, and his ambition in life is to fall out with people. I mean, I remember one thing when he was interviewing Lala Kent, and he was trying to like act like he was part of Vanderpump, and he was just like, "Yeah, you're someone who poured drinks with me at so." that was it. and to me, I really, another reason why I like Lisa Barlow, Lisa Vanderpump, and these types of people is that if something is fake, they don't give you a second to breathe. They just call it out. And it's the same, thing as you were saying earlier with the Bronwyn girl. Given these indiscrepancies about her relationship with her unhappy, mean husband. I mean, maybe he's an upgrade from PK, but that's a different story. But I kind of, they don't kind of vibe of that. And for some reason, a lot of these cast members on these shows love their indiscrepancies, and they're not living their real life. And I thought, obviously some people just say things for attention. I mean, when Whitney, for example, was saying, "Oh, I'd rather DIE than be Lisa for a day," and I'm just like, okay, well, you have a unique taste, but you're far from someone to act like you're something better than Lisa Barlow when you literally have no personality that is pleasant. Your personality is someone who is disgusting. And I just don't know. I kind of and that's why, even though she's in prison and what have you, that's also kind of why I like Jen Shah. As much as she did these horrible things, she was never a phony. And kind of, to me,
Well,
when you said,
That's a good tagline. I might be a fraud, but at least I'm not phony.
Come on, now. I'm like, wait a minute, not a phone. I think she went to prison because she was,
yeah, I mean,
because she was a fraud. Phony and frauds are two different things.
Okay.
And I actually agree with Adam. I don't. She's a fraud, but she's not phony.
Okay.
Oh, so y'all know
she was a little
her.
phony.
They're
Her
two different.
sentence got shortened again. She gonna be out next year.
Yep.
Uh-oh, watch out.
And watch season 7.
She should be.
But Johnny, is that your name, Johnny?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with you. You said something that I was like, oh yeah, I have had this thought before, where you're like, not all friends are made to be the deep friends, and
Oh
that
yeah.
doesn't mean that they're like bad friends. It's just like, I don't know. I've learned in my life that I can get deep and I'm existential, and not everyone is like that. And I used to kind of get my feelings hurt because like not everyone was like me, and I'm like, wait, I'm getting this way, like why, like And then I had to come to that realization. Not everyone's like that, and it doesn't mean that they're bad. And I think like Lisa is just that fun, good-hearted person that's fab, and like you're not gonna need to come to her when you're like worried about your spiritual existence. Like, you know what I mean? And then like go after her if you don't get the answer you want. I don't know. It's just like, yeah. Sorry.
Oh yeah, I agree. Yeah, like I said, I actually tweeted that about Lisa like maybe a week or so ago. It was the same. It was that episode when Angie made her cry with the whole she know more about Bronwyn than she know about Lisa. And I was like, that was,
Angie was dead wrong for that.
yeah, I thought that was like really,
That
really
was
mean to say.
mean.
So I was like,
She just like
what?
talks out of her, yeah.
Yeah. So what I tweeted, I was like, an unpopular opinion. I think they expect way too much out of Lisa
They do.
because she's not a deep person. Like, you do know a lot about Lisa. She just like tequila, fast food, and her shoes, and her clothes, and her hair. That's all. That's all. And her husband, and her kids.
And her family, yeah. It's like,
So that's deep to her. Not everybody has to have like this
But the
dark
thing is,
track.
but I kind of agree more with how Natasha took it, where it's like, it's not that Lisa isn't a deep person, it's that she doesn't want to go deep with them. Because it's, you can be deep with like certain people, doesn't mean you want to be deep with everybody. You know what I mean? So I do think Lisa's a deep person. I'm sure she has like her and Meredith are pretty deep. I just think she knows who she can trust and who she can't trust.
Yeah,
And remember when Whitney was like begging for her to like hold her hand and
yeah, like and all this crazy stuff.
and brush her hair and tell her she's pretty like every 5 seconds, and
why
she's
would
like,
Lisa want to be deep with like Angie, who like plays in her face and flip flops and goes, and Whitney cannot be trusted. You know what I mean? So it's like, you want her to be this perfect friend for you, be loyal all the time, but yet you continuously yell at her and talk about her and put her down and get people together to go against her. So like, I agree. Like, I do think Lisa is deep. I just don't think she has to be deep with all of these women. So I kind of took it the way Natasha took it. Or
I don't want to be like,
you know what I mean?
misconstrued. I would more say, when I say like deep, I do think like, when I say deep, I'm more thinking about like her likes and her interests. Like, I feel like
or
a lot
like
of,
he doesn't want to necessarily
That's
get
what I mean.
existential all the time.
yeah, like I don't think there's nothing wrong. My thing is, I don't even
She's
think there's
not
nothing
wondering
wrong with
about the
that.
universe.
Yeah, because there's a lot like nowadays people are like trauma bonded. People are,
True.
talking about what happened to them 5, 10 years ago, and et cetera, et cetera. And I don't think she goes on that level with them. And I feel like
But that's
I feel like
actually
that's
smart
okay.
though.
Not
Yeah.
fraud.
Because
Yeah.
those trauma bonding things will like suck
Fraud
your like
essentially.
energy dry.
Right. Like, there are some people that I'm just going to talk about shopping and this with, and there are some people I'm going to be like, well, what do you think happens when you die? Like, because I think, you know what I mean? I think that,
Yeah.
because when I hear like she's not that deep, I think you mean she's like shallow and like doesn't
No,
have depth
I
to
don't.
Yeah,
her. When
no.
like she
I wasn't
may,
saying like I was saying like her interests, like, because people like to talk. When people talk, they love to
yeah,
like spill everything. And that's
yeah,
what I kind of get with this group. Like, they try to spill everything, and it's like she's there, like she'll be there for you. She's
yeah.
gonna sympathize with you, but don't expect that from her.
Right. Like, I took it the way Miss T said. Like, every friend has a different purpose in your life. Learn what it is and act accordingly. Like, that's kind of like, that's more of what it is. Like, there are friends that the relationship we have, we'll talk about deep stuff. If I need a good cry, if I need a good laugh, if I just want to kiki, because there's different positions people hold. So I agree.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what he was saying. Yeah.
yeah, that's what I agree with. Yeah.
I think it's also kind of the depth. You have people who you click with, and you have people who you may see at friends' birthdays, and you'll like have discussions, but you don't have to reveal every single thing about your daily lives to. There were certain people, and that's why, going back to Beverly Hills, that's why season 9 was just incredible how low things went, because you had the vulnerability of Lisa Vanderpump, of
The
even
death.
just hearing it on Made in Chelsea now, because her nephew's now Made in Chelsea, about how her brother unalived himself. And for all of these women that were on season 9 but especially Kyle, to really stab her, and I'm talking metaphorically, but it was a stab, to actually even just say in someone's house, maybe you care about your image more than your friendships, when you literally were just, when you clearly made it out on a phone call that you were going to come round to her house for moral support, yet you were going to try and get a high five from Renner for bringing down the other Lisa. And I kind of think, if someone's going to be that in depth and that trustworthy with you, and that's kind of why I think, with the Salt Lake City cast, it's not quite the same like that. You have Lisa Barlow and Meredith, as you said, not allowing these people to interrupt your correlation and your friendship. But but I think, Lisa Barlow and Meredith are still a growing friendship. They're not telling each other everything, and there are things, but why would any of those two trust these other women wholeheartedly? They don't. They wouldn't. I mean, the evidence is right in front of them of what these people are, and I think also you have Granddad Rose's wife, which is something else. But the way that Angie loves, I mean, it seems like her hobby is to cut you to the core. Like she goes and finds you to cut you to the core, and I personally
Like she immediately goes to low blows.
like, if that's her
And then
ambition
plays
in
the
life.
victim. And then when you say one thing to her, she
She's
plays the victim.
grasping
Oh
her
my God, you're
for
so mean, you're so
pearls.
this, you're so that.
It's not even just a victim. The way that she went out of her way to throw those flowers at Lisa, like it was out of
And
it
she's
was out of
also talking
control.
out of both sides of her face, because for one episode, she's complaining, Lisa calls me 100 times a day. She's always calling me. She's always talking to me. She's always doing this, blah, 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 blah. And then the next episode, she's like, I know more about Bronwyn than I know about you, Lisa. So which is it? Is Lisa calling you 100 times a day? So much so that you have to lie and say you have to go talk to your daughter? Because remember that they had that beef when Lisa was like, well, is that why you say you have to go talk to Electra? And Angie was like, yeah, when I want to get off the phone with you, I just say I have to go talk to my daughter or something, or my daughter's calling. So that's what I mean by Angie's fake and two-faced. Because
Candy, I was going to say this too. First off, this was great, especially today. This was much needed. And you know what? I love the new time zone because it's easy for me to call in. But I'm going to drop down. I want
Me
to send
too.
you
I'm
good
hungry.
vibes. Thank you again. I loved all the information. I'm going to rewatch it because I want to know more about everything you were saying. It's a lot. And yeah, good night to everybody in the panel. Have a good evening.
Bye
Good night,
now.
Right.
All right.
Yeah,
and good night, Johnny. Thank you so much for coming up too.
I was gonna say the same thing. Like, obviously, I'm 5 hours ahead of you, so it's
and we've been on for 3 hours. So
yeah. But luckily, I've got a day off work tomorrow. But my last question to you, Candy, is
yes, my love.
What do you want to see from Beverly Hills that's left to come? Because I saw your short about how Kyle quit for a week, and like what do you actually want? Because to me, none of this has been tens. This is sevens.
This is the thing I want. I don't know what episode we're on, but we're getting up there, and it's pretty bad at this point. I need Dorit to like shut up, like just to be quiet. I'm tired of her yelling. I'm tired of her swearing. I'm tired of her doing the absolute most. I want a real conversation between Kyle and Dorit without the screaming, without the swearing. And I want Kyle to look Dorit in her face and be like, do you want to have sex with my husband? Have you ever had sex with my husband? Like, that's what I want. I don't want this like, oh my God, in 2000.
I don't want to dance around the bush,
and blah, 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 blah. And your text, like, I don't want all of the extra stuff they're doing to not talk about the real thing. Like, Kyle, don't show a screenshot to Bozema. Who the hell is she? Take the screenshot to Dorit and be like, what, like, chick, what is this? Take it to Dorit. Take it to her face and be like, what is this? You know, that's what I want to see. I want to see Kyle and Dorit have the actual conversation about what everything is about. I want to see Bozema off. Sorry, Boz, but I want to see Boz off. Sutton, no notes. Garcelle, no notes. Erica Jane could be demoted to friend of. She's playing a friend of role. She's Switzerland. She's not doing anything. I like Jennifer Tilly. Kathy's cool. I think next season maybe get some new people. I think that would be cool. Some fresh new people. But yeah, I mean, for Beverly Hills, that's really my biggest note. I need Kyle and Dorit to have the conversation that they're doing everything not to have. And that's it.
I agree, other than the Erica part. But but yes, it's refreshing that you went live, and
Yeah.
thank you for doing this, and have a wonderful rest of your evening.
You too.
I know. So glad
Yeah.
you've made it back to us.
I always make it back.
I know, right?
Much love and speak soon.
You too. Mwah.
Bye, Adam. Good
Bye,
night.
Adam.
I'm gonna go too. Thanks so much. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
You. Bye, Natasha. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to my beautiful panel. Thank you, Natasha. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Mel, NYC. Thank you, Tay Tay the Savior. Thank you, Johnny. You are amazing. Shout out to my mod, Miss T. Thank you for holding me down. Everybody in the chat box. Mary, Orange Blossom. Who else is in here? I want to get everybody. SW, DGF 67. Who else was here earlier too? Give me shelter. What is up? Lauren, what is up? Adam, we already said. Reality Diamond, what is up? Hey, Friday, how are you? All right, I think that's everybody. If I missed you, I apologize. So with that, you guys, thank you so much for joining the show. As always, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. It's a free and easy way to support the show, and I really, really appreciate it. And be careful out there. Be safe. Be gentle with yourself. Happy Martin Luther King Day. Happy Kamala Harris Day. I love you guys. Bye.